Back in 2014, after graduating high school, me and some friends wanted to go on a camping trip up north by the Canadian border. One guy I knew said his cousin told him about this amazing place and sent him the dropped pin location on Google Maps. He shared it with me and our friends group, and we would go on a 3-day trip in a month or so. The week of the trip comes and two guys lost interest. Another bailed, and the guy who got us the location said he didn't feel like going. If the whole group wasn't going to go, I told him I understood and we would figure something else out. I was pretty bummed for the trip. The day before we were supposed to leave, I figured I would see if anyone else I knew was interested in going. Since I still wanted to go but had never been solo camping before, of course nobody wanted to travel 10 plus hours with such a short notice, so I decided I would go by myself. I have gone day hiking by myself, so I should be able to manage a campsite by myself. The day comes and I load up the cooler, pack the car, let someone know where I'll be and for how long. The journey there was. I enjoyed the trip, had some good quality time to myself. After about 11 hours on the road with pit stops included, I arrived at small dirt patch of a main road, maybe big enough to park 3 cars. I didn't know what to think, but it looked more like a trail rather than a campsite. But I was here, so I might as well as walk in. Maybe 10 minutes hike from the car. There was a nice clearing on a lake, some good trees to set up the hammock, and the remains of old fire pit. No signs of people or city life anywhere near. It was nice and weather was great. I quickly set up the camp, got a fire going, and started to fix the dinner for the night. I was happy I decided to go instead of staying back home. There wasn't much to complain about other than the lack of animals, but as far as they were probably avoiding the area as most animals do around people. As the sun set, I cracked the small bottle of whiskey I'd hoped we would pass around the fire the night and tried to get myself a buzz before sleeping. Sleep came quick, no doubt from a long car ride, but it didn't last long. I was snapped awake some time later, like the kind of wake you get when your body just goes from asleep to adrenaline right away. I lay there and tried to listen for anything, but hearing nothing. No animals, no bugs, no frogs doing their thing, just leaves in the wind. Annoyed, I would grab the alcohol and dumped some more down, hoping to get back to sleep, as I would probably had a bad dream and forgot. The next morning was nice and easy, birds chirping, at a bit chilly, but nothing I wasn't prepared for. Ate a quick breakfast and took a small hike around my area and went back for lunch. I couldn't be happier. The rest of the day was sitting around in the hammock, feeding the fire and enjoying life. As the sun went down, a breeze came, and with it some rather chilly temperatures that I didn't expect. I didn't recall if there was a cold front coming or not. I suppose I should have double checked, but either way, I was going down and crawled into my tent for another good night's sleep. Just like previous night, I drank a little and dozed off, and also like the previous night, I woke up and start in the middle of night, but tonight was different. I heard what sounded like a small rock splash into the water. A fish? Maybe. It sounded closer to the shore. I waited to hear if that was going to be a regular thing they did, or if I got comfy and closed my eyes as I did hear something that still keeps me up at the night. Throb, like the sound of a big rock or something makes when it hits the water. It was a good sea splash. From what I heard, my first instinct was quietly reach over and grab my shotgun. I wasn't old enough to carry or even a pistol, and I wasn't going to go anywhere alone without something just in case. I held that with all I had, not sure what's happening. Was there someone else there? Did I just hear the biggest fish in the lake jump out of the water? Should I be afraid, or am I being too coward? I got my answer not long after. I laid still and silent, heart pounding, too scared to move, and then I heard footsteps. Not like animals' footsteps, but of real. Only they didn't sound right. Not like the sounds the shoes made on the packed dirt, but softer, quieter, and almost deliberate. I had serious talk with myself right then and there. If I was in danger, would I pull the trigger? Could I do that? Hopefully, the sight of an armed person would scare whoever is trying to mess with me and hopefully send them running. The footsteps didn't stop at my campsite. However, they just continued it around, slow and precise, never stepped on a twig or made more noise than they had to. It felt like someone was investigating my area. My trash was in the fire, pot was rinsed and clean, and my food was locked up in the cooler, so that idea was out of question. At one point the footsteps stopped. I couldn't be sure where though. Somewhere across the Trent. Was it waiting for me to get out and have a look? I wasn't moving. It must have been hours I waited for it to leave. At last I had the footsteps come closer to the tent, a bit close for my liking, and they stopped. I could hear whoever it was breathing, slow, long, deep breaths, and finally they left, only with a quicker pace and a bit louder, as if they didn't care if they made more noise. As soon as the sun went up, I finally got out the tent and I looked around. Nothing was touched. Fire still smoldering, cooler where I left it, and no tracks. I couldn't find any clue whatsoever. I thought about the night before and decided to ditch the tent and grab the gun, cooler, and hammock I thankfully packed up the previous night. I drove out of there a bit more recklessly than I should have and stopped at the first hotel I came across to catch up some of the missed sleep. I didn't tell my friends or my family about it. There wasn't much more to tell, actually, and nothing happened. My biggest idea of whatever been camping in a Sasquatch territory. My reasoning is that, along with the rumor in the northern part of the state having sightings, the whole encounter seemed more like an animal than human. A person who was passing through would recognize a campsite. If I was in danger, I would have surely known. A person wouldn't quietly circle the area and then wait so quietly for a long time before moving on. I heard no cars pull up as well. I wasn't far at from the road, and there was no car there when I came in. And for a rock or log, something to make a splash, I heard it would have been lifted and tossed into the air far enough out in deep water and make the top sound. I never saw anything, so I can't say surely, but all I know, I won't be going to camping alone ever again in my